This mutation is called Ulnar New Year, and it is being played on Lock and Load, one of the more fun mutations that we have. So we have two mutators active. We have Lucky Envelopes, and we have Fireworks. Lucky Envelopes is purely a good mutator. There are no disadvantages by having this mutator active. It basically just boosts up your economy by adding some extra drops that you can pick up on the ground. Fireworks, on the other hand, a little bit of a scarier mutator, so to speak. Whenever you kill an enemy unit, it's very similar to self-destruction, but the self-destruction circle actually targets your units that are nearby, and it deals a much larger amount of damage than you'd be expecting. Pretty much one-shots a lot of the lower tech units here. But we do have Handhorner and Karax that will be going ahead, and they'll be trying to go ahead and clear this mutation out. You can see here these Lucky Envelope drops are available on the ground, and I think they give you 50 resources? Yeah, 50 minerals and 50 gas for each pickup. So it is actually very important to try and pick these things up as quickly as possible. As you can see over here, the economies are pretty much booming for both these commanders. They are getting a lot of mineral income, getting a lot of gas income as well, and this will allow Karax and Handhorner to pretty much ramp up as quickly as possible. One other thing to also note here is, if you wanted, you could basically just skip an expansion, because the mission will usually end very quickly. But because these two commanders are kind of slow, so Karax and Handhorner, they're not the fastest commanders in the game, it does mean that they will be it's probably better for them to just take the expansion. They'll probably get the resources that they have invested back in, especially considering the fact that you do have the Lucky Envelopes that is covering for a lot of the initial investments that they would normally be expected to make. So the impact is not as great there. But production-wise, let's have a look here. Handhorner is already producing the extra command center, using the galleons to clear up the rocks here with a bunch of creepers. And now we have a bunch of mag mines that have been put down to deal with the first attack wave, which will probably be in this, that'll be coming up this side. As you can see here, both commanders do really well in terms of their economy, and it is allowing them to ramp up very nicely in the early stages of the game. Attack wave now has spawned and will be making its way towards the central lock. So these mag mines should be able to clear out this attack wave pretty much completely, I think, unless there's a little screwy stuff that happens with the pathing, which is sometimes occurs. Other thing you can see here is that we know that the enemy composition is Protoss, which is probably one of the better compositions to deal with in this mission. It does mean, though, that there are Dark Templars in this area, which does also mean that there will need to be detection. And this is also another example of why Amon is a cheater. I've seen this happen so many times where you will put down some static defenses and the attack wave will just wrap around the other side. I'm not really sure what causes this, but I call complete cheat on Amon's part, because that is not normally supposed to happen. We do have a bunch of mag mines that have been dropped here, but I think this thing might be picked up by Amon. I think Amon's going to end up capping this lock here. Anyway, Handhorner decides to go and start pushing into the side, and he's dropped the space station on here, and this should pretty much one-shot almost all the units here. There might be a few Colossi that are still alive here because of their extra range, but that is pretty much done. That lock has been capped, and I think the Zealots should start attacking now downwards here, but once they do, Amon's mag mines are in position, or Handhorner's mag mines are in position, and that will end up dealing with these Zealots. Unfortunately, though, Handhorner decides to engage the Zealots with the Reapers, and Karax uses his orbital strikes to take out the Reapers. But those to take up the Zealots do have the fireworks, so the fireworks target all the Reapers and end up wiping all those Reapers out, which was kind of painful for Handhorner. But again, Handhorner doesn't really care at this point. They have so many resources available with this mutator that is available, the Lucky Envelopes, so it's not really too big of a deal. There are a few more, lots of mag mines there, and that's just going to end up wiping out the Stalker. That's actually kind of funny. Those units actually ended up surviving. The Stalker and the Colossus ended up surviving that, which was kind of unexpected, to be honest. I thought that it would have been pretty much wiped, but on the side now we have have a probe that will be capping the central lock, and the Hand Horner has dropped a call in the fleet here, and this one will pretty much completely wipe this entire all the enemy defenses from this lock here. So that area has also been addressed by Hand Horner. We have yeah, one of these locks are now captured. Now is basically a question of further defending. The static defense build here for Karax is probably not very effective. The static defenses are not going to last very long because of the fireworks ability. It does so much damage. Like, it is unbelievable how much damage output these fireworks can do. And I'm not sure whether we'll get to see it over here, but if Karax spots the attack wave and uses his abilities, a lot of the structures will end up going down. Hand Horner is already starting to shower Amon's forces with hellfire from above, with his napalm ability as well. He has napalm payload upgrade researched onto his strike fire platforms, and now we have a bunch of zealots here. We just watch the amount of damage output here that is coming out with these zealots. A bunch of orbital strikes come down, and just instantly Karax just loses so many structures here. Because yeah, the damage output is actually really high for these fireworks. They're not. It's not like self-destruction. It's not like scorched earth. It's actually kind of scary the amount of damage output these Mutators has. Karax is going to be rebuilding some of the structures that were fallen in the process. But again, I don't think it is the most effective way of dealing with this. If I was Karax, I would probably be going for some of the more backup abilities for him. So getting the Spear of Adun upgrades and stuff. Just being able to help Hand Horner with the pushes, it does make it a little bit easier for him. But yeah, Karax is going to go ahead and put some more defenses down on this side. We have a lot of Magmines here for Hand Horner. Hand Horner is now going to start pushing. A little nice dodge there onto these fireworks here. Unfortunately, a few hits here. Karax's Unity Barrier does keep these Reapers alive because the Unity Barrier will soak up damage from the first hit or almost the first hit here. But Karax has to be very careful. He does not want to end up losing any of those units here. And now there is a bunch of orbital strikes coming out from Karax to help Hand Horner, which is useful. But again, Hand Horner has to be very careful that he doesn't end up landing on this side. It's a very dangerous game of dodgeball he's playing right now. And so far, he's doing really well there. Ends up dodging pretty much everything on this side, and there is also a Purifier that comes up here. So the thing that makes this difficult is not only does he have to dodge his own shots, but when he ends up killing stuff, but he also has to dodge the shots from Karax, because Karax does tend to use his orbital strikes a little bit. So it's a little bit unpredictable, and it does require very careful micro. But overall, Hand Horner did really well there, just dodging pretty much all those shots. And now this last lock is available for capture, and there is a probe on this side. Over here there is an attack wave that's coming up, but lots of Magmines. Those Magmines should essentially clear out a number of these Immortals. That's Immortal also ends up getting cleaned up, and yeah, there we go. Over here now, Hand Horner has already started the offensive on the side, drops a space station reallocation with a lot of strike fires on here, and pretty much all the enemy units on this side have been cleared. On this lock has actually not been captured yet. There is still a probe here, and I think the Reaper might have gotten killed off or might have been pulled away by accident. But Hand Horner again doing really well in dodging those shots here, and now it's going to make their way towards. Does he want to do the bonus? I think he wants to do the bonus here. A few more strike fire platforms on this side, softening this enemy entrenchment here. There are just a bunch of hybrids on this side, but they will. Lots of Magmines have been dropped as well, but they are slightly out of range of these hybrids, so these hybrids will have to be lured if I don't know wants to use the strike fire. These Magmines there. So a few more Magmines end up going into this area. I don't know if it ended up killing any of this stuff here. Now we have another call in the fleet here, and this will be able to clean up whatever is left from the enemy units and structures on this lock over here. While Hand Horner pushes into this side and they're cleaning up that Colossus. And now all that is left is the Zelnaga construct, which won't really stand a chance against Hand Horner's army. He has to be a little bit careful that he doesn't get hit by the AoE ability, but that's pretty much okay. On this side, I think there's a Reaper, but still waiting for Karax's probe to go ahead and cap the lock. That lock has still not been captured. It was a little bit harassed by by Hand Horner in the early game, but I think they seem to have ignored that side. And now we have a double attack wave that is coming up. in this mission. So let's see what the commanders choose to do to address with those two boys. So over here, this attack wave decides to run into the mag mines, which ends up getting wiped. But just see the damage output there. There was a lot more static defenses on this side. The static defenses have essentially been wiped. Over here, Handhorner does take a huge hit on these fireworks here. But again, Handhorner doesn't really care because that area has been pretty much completely cleared out now. Very, very little bit defensive left on this side. So just going to clean up the rest of the structures. This area now is ready for the taking. We only now have this last lock here that is, I think, slightly defended. There might be 2 Colossi and maybe 1 Stalker, I think, that is left. But that is pretty much it over here. And we're just flexing on the Amon right now, just completely cleaning up whatever's left on the side. A few more Zealots here, but completely cleared out. And over here, yeah, so there's 1 Colossus that has already gone down. And I think that is pretty much it. It's just now a question of Karax and Handhorner just capping the rest of these locks. So this one is going to get captured right now. A few more strike fire platforms on this side. There's still lots of fire everywhere. Fireworks and fire. And now we have a probe over here. Yeah, there's 1 Stalker on this side. But I think that's pretty much it, I think. There are a few more probes. Got to aggro that Stalker. And is that going to be a problem? Just has to be correct. Has to just make sure these end up losing probes to that, basically. But yeah, there we go. That is the last lock that is going to be captured on this side. Over here, this one is still not being captured. Because I think Karax does not have a probe on here. But this one will end up getting capped. And yeah, I think, yeah, it's basically just this one. It's a worker here. But there's a warp in here for Karax. He warps in an Energizer here. So that will basically be it. This next attack wave has spawned, but I think it is a little bit too late. The only thing that could happen is if this attack wave does end up getting caught, does end up attacking this side. But again, Handhorner has warped in a lot of units here. Another warp in here, and these units are just getting completely shredded by the fireworks. Because the fireworks do hit the air units, and but that doesn't really matter because the stalling was successful. I managed to stall that bit, and now that final lock has been captured. That is GG.